Um, how did you get your disability?
Well, when I was 17 years old, I fell off a horse and I broke my back. So that's how I ended up in a wheelchair.
Yeah. How did you get? What sport are you involved in?
I'm involved in wheelchair tennis and wheelchair basketball.
How did you get involved in wheelchair tennis and wheelchair basketball?
I got involved in it about 5 or 6 years ago through the Irish Wheelchair Association down in Dublin. So through that then I ended up making friends with a lot of other people who were playing wheelchair basketball and wheelchair tennis, and I started to do it up the north here when I moved up here through the two clubs, the Knights and Spokes in Motion.
Is that there for tennis or basketball?
Tennis is Spokes in Motion and the wheelchair basketball is the Knights.
How many basketball and tennis clubs are there in Northern Ireland?
They're the only two clubs. So there's one wheelchair tennis club and one wheelchair basketball club in Northern Ireland.
Did you find it particularly difficult getting involved in these type of sports as a woman?
No, I didn't find it difficult. That's a good question. I am usually the only woman there, so you just have to kind of muck in and just be as strong as one of the lads and don't count yourself as any different.
Do you consider, is there any advantage in men and women in these sports?
When you're playing wheelchair basketball, I can play on a men's team, but I'm a point lower. So I would be classified as a one-pointer in wheelchair basketball, but if I was playing on a men's team, I would be a zero-pointer. So it means that I would be no points playing on the court. So that would give me an advantage over a man who is a one-pointer at my level.
Has anybody ever used that system to cheat?
It's not a system to cheat. It gives you an advantage as a woman when you're playing against men.
No, but do you know what I'm trying to say? If you're using no points, then you could use, say, 3 women and then 2 men.
Yeah.
With big counts.
Yeah. That would be your tactics.
Yes,
so you could have maybe men that were more able-bodied on the court. So they'd be higher points. They'd be maybe have 2 4.5s, and then women to lower the points. So that would be tactics.
How often do you train?
Train twice a week. Twice a week for basketball, twice a week for tennis.
For how long?
They'd be about 2 hours each.
Oh, yeah. Has your sport ever taken you to other countries?
Yeah, I've played wheelchair basketball in Portugal a few times, and also I've played tennis in England.
Oh, would you consider yourself then to be Northern Irish or Irish? Or?
I'd still consider myself to be Irish because I've only been up here 3 years.
So then would you be playing a lot for the Irish basketball?
No, not anymore now. I just play for the Knights up here.
Oh, so do you ever then get into the Irish team because of that?
I've never tried. I've never had the time because I work and stuff like that, so it'd be more social.
What then exactly is it that you do as a job?
I work for the Cedar Foundation. I'm a researcher for them.
And what does that entail?
It involves me doing an awful lot of research and collecting data about assisted technology.
Does this mean then that the technology advancing, or is it something?
Yes, it
else?
is. It's about advancing technology. It's about advancing brain-computer interfaces. And this is a very new emerging technology, and we're trying to get it from the laboratory to the home. So it's actually a European project I'm working on.
What is that, and how will it affect people's lives?
Well, it's for people with very severe motor impairment. So it means that because they would not maybe be able to use their upper body limbs or very little mobility, with this device on their head, the electrodes can read their brain signals, and they can actually interact with their environment through these devices. So it would mean that a person might be able to use their electric wheelchair just using their brain waves through this device, or be able to interact with their home, use a computer, things like that. So it gives people independence to live in their daily lives.
So then it's going to be one of these things of taking technology beyond where it was.
Exactly, yeah. trying to move it forward.
Then the question then goes to, how do you feel that technology has advanced since you were small to where it is now?
Oh, I think it's come forward so dramatically. If you think of all the iPhones and the iPads and even Apple in terms of access wise, you know, everything is now mainstream. Before, technology would be so expensive to access, whereas now you can get things mainstream, you know, on the high street that help people even a little bit in their everyday lives. They're helping people who don't have a disability, and they give them so much more benefit for people who have a disability. Even in terms of our wheelchairs, you know, when I was small, they never had wheelchairs that would be able to help you maintain your balance and stuff like that, like this chair does for me now.
Have you used your work to help you use your wheelchair?
No, I haven't.
In any way, shape or form?
I haven't actually, because I'm only in the job now about 4 months, so I was all set up in my wheelchair and stuff like that.
Well, would you be thinking of doing something like that to help your wheelchair in your sport?
It's not something I've thought about at the moment. Maybe in the future it might be something. I'm not sure.
How is wheelchair basketball and wheelchair tennis in the south as opposed to in the north?
It's very different. The wheelchair tennis in the south is only just starting. It's only just beginning over the last few years. So in terms of that, they're very much looking towards the north to see what they're doing up here and how the club works. Whereas wheelchair basketball, they've got a southern league. So that's been going quite along, and now the Knights go down, they play in the Southern League. So, but the Knights will be more focused on the GB League. So that it's the two run kind of concurrently.
Have you ever considered, or have you ever, or what tier are you at as a sports person?
Sorry?
What tier?
Tier, what kind of level?
Yes.
Well, I do my sport very much socially. So I wouldn't consider myself at a high level. I'm just kind of an intermediate level would be a good way of putting it, I think. I wouldn't be one of the top. I just kind of I wouldn't be as good as the other guys that you've seen here tonight. But I enjoy my sport.
Would your dreams be more in sport or in technology?
My dreams would be more in my career and stuff like that. Whereas my sport is just my hobby, really more.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.